Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1976 Matchbox Super Kings Peterbilt truck cab and a Matchbox Super Kings K-92 Transporter trailer. These are going to be the base pieces for the next and last in line in my summer road trip series, this time with fellow Canadian Lindsay Gallien. In consultation together, we came up with a steampunk theme. That's strange, as it's the first one for each of us, but testament to Lindsay's bravery and my idiocy, we're going for it. We struck this deal way back in April, 4 months ago, and truth be told, I started working on mine right away. I've been collecting gears and springs and gizmos for a while now for such a project as this. According to Wikipedia, steampunk is a subgenre of science fiction that incorporates retrofuturistic technology and aesthetics inspired by 19th century industrial steam-powered machinery. Steampunk works are often set in an alternative history of the Victorian era or the American Wild West, where steam power remains in mainstream use, or in a fantasy world that simply employs steam power. An important part of this hobby for me is trying out new stuff, so I'm kind of excited to plunge right into this steampunk project and see where it takes me. So get all coffeeed up and settle in. Maybe we'll both learn something new today. One caveat, this is definitely not a how-to video. It's much more of a what-if video because I'm trying all these things for the first time. Here you can see some of the gizmos and baubles that I've been collecting for a long time now in a larger organizer box with gears and shafts and gauges, and all these pieces are metal. Quite a variety, sizes and colors, but they're all what I think would fit the steampunk genre. And I'm sticking with the red fire truck theme, which is just perfect for this and big enough to hold all of these things that I'm setting aside. I don't even know what this particular piece is. I can only report that nothing is thrown away in my shop. That came out of the bottom of the toolbox. Here's a small collection of 3D resin printed parts that I found by searching on Thingiverse, just on steampunk as a key word. And I've decided in my mind what kind of a scale I want these all to match. Here's one that already had a color test done on it in a gold. Oh, you can even read the gauges on these, so finely detailed. Pre-painted that one too with a little test. What are they? I don't know, but they're gonna look the part when I get them all affixed to the trailer and the cab. This is all part of the pre-work in this project. Okay. Lots of ideas. Here's my color palette. It's going to be spray paint mostly, and I use some white plastic spoons as test pieces. Should be lots of fun. Coming up on my channel, the next 4 horsemen build for the end of August is a flying Batmobile. I'm teaming up with the Diecast Mafia for a tracks theme. I got a flying train coming your way too. Lots of interesting stuff. I hope it'll keep you entertained and intrigued enough to come on back and click that subscribe button. If you enjoy this kind of video, why not give it a thumbs up? It's absolutely free, and it's just about the best way you can help me grow my YouTube channel. I'd sure appreciate it, so thank you very much. I didn't even disassemble the Super Kings cab and trailer because they were in such fine condition, but they did need a little bit of touch-up. So I'm working on the grille with some new chrome and black trim, but overall, it just got a good hot soapy water wash and some red touch-ups where needed. I'm using the gold and silver and chrome and copper spray paint cans to hit these 3D printed parts, so there will be a good variety of colors in a mix when it's all laid out on that big trailer, which is a super canvas for this project. Some of it gets hand painted, like this tiny bell that will sit on top of the cab. Today's community shout-out goes to my buddy on this build, and that's Lindsay Gallien, who's most prominent on Instagram. And his channel is called Piston Broke Diecast Customs. Follow the link that I left in the description so you can see his excellent and creative custom work. He's a very prolific uploader, and Lindsay, it's been my pleasure to do this summer road trip buddy build with you to wrap up my summer series. The Super Kings tandem pieces are a pretty big outfit, so I'm going to go first of all with the cab. I've laid out a couple of pieces where I think they might look most effective, starting with this boiler pipe valve combination right behind the cab. I got a thingamajiggy on top, and I'll put this little whatchamacallit in the middle of that, and one more doohickey. Looks like one hand off of a clock face. Crazy is the key word here. Just trying to fill the real estate. Here's my little bell. I clipped off the surviving air horn that was on the roof. One of them was already missing, but I'll use that right on the front of the hood, beside this piece, which is also unnamed. I've got a little benchtop disc sanding machine. I use that to trim off one side of one of these metal wheels, because that's exactly the fit that I need to go on the end of this boiler. You're going to see a lot of super glue in this video, which works perfectly for putting these parts together and onto the model. Goes like that. This fills in the end. I got some pipes and gauges on there. There's a piece on the front grille. Little water cannon on the fender on the driver's side. Yeah. All right. And that's the look of the cab. I decided once I was at this point that these round handles needed to be red. That's what you always see on a fire truck, so I carefully went around. These are all the 3D printed parts. Some are silver, some are chrome, some are gold, but if they have a round handle on them, they get a red touch-up like that, bringing some uniformity to the build. Really like these little valves that I printed. They've got some straight handles on them. They get the same treatment. Look at that. Such great detail. And then I might glue one onto the other, onto a third. And the gauges, which are also minutely detailed, get a kind of a whitewash center fill. There's probably half a dozen of those all around the cab. So I take my time, and this is making things stand out a little bit more, a touch of realism in this fantasy build. I'll zoom in on a couple of still pics so you can see the rivets and the bolts and the legs and the pipes and valves. Pretty awesome stuff you can do with a 3D printer these days. I turned my attention to the big flatbed transporter trailer, and I'm just putting some pieces down here. It's a dry fit. I don't want to start gluing before I have an idea where they might go to lay it out aesthetically. Gears, resin prints, pieces from the toolbox. Everything is grist for the mill. And look at this! I printed some coiled up fire hoses. I mix up a little bit of I'd call it a taupe color. Red on the couplings and some chrome on the end fittings. Doing my best to make these look real, and this is the most fun for me. This video is brought to you by Super Glue because that's holding everything together. Usually just takes me about 10 seconds of holding them in place and the glue catches on. And it's not impossible to move if I decide I like a better placement later. All the little doodads that I set aside find a home on the flatbed. Alright, more bits and bobs come out of the boxed collection. Trying to get the fire truck feel to it. These are couplings that go on the end of the pipes where you fix up the hoses. I did a coiled piece of soft tubing. All of a sudden looks like a rolling still now. And some caution lines on the back tailgate. Well, this is what I started with. A very popular Matchbox Super Kings casting. And this is what my finished product looks like. I don't know if I did it right or wrong, but I just had a great time putting the pieces together, painting them, arranging them, and look at that, the valves and the fire hose hookups, boilers, coils, bells. That's what I thought a steampunk fire truck and trailer would look like. And I hope you're in agreement with me. I sure would enjoy reading your respectful comments that you leave below. And while you're doing that, let me know where you're watching from, because I'm interested to find out where the viewership lays across the global map. And I'll pan from end to end on this to give you the full overall picture of the Matchbox Super Kings Steampunk build. Thanks, Lindsay, for participating, and thanks everyone for watching today. Come on back soon and often. Drive carefully. It's coffee time.